Welcome to Thursday's weekly practice check. So we're going to just go ahead and get started with number 1. Ms. Gillum runs 14 miles in 112 minutes. How many miles does she run per minute? So you're going to have to think of this as, we're going to kind of have to think of this one backwards. So she ran 14 miles in 112 minutes. And we're trying to figure out per minute, which should be 1 minute. So obviously I shouldn't be able to run a whole mile in a minute. So it's going to be less than a whole. So to go from 112 minutes to 1 minute, that means we need to divide 14 by 112. So when you do that, you get 125 hundredths of a mile. So not very far at all. Okay, let's take a look at number 2 now. Round the number below to the nearest hundredth. So we talked about all week our place values. So we know that this is our tenths and this would be our hundredths would be the 3. So the 2 is going to tell us how to round the 3, and since a 2 rounds down, the 3 will stay 18 and 93 hundredths. Should be your answer for number 2. Okay, on number 3, we are finding the sum of the decimals. So remember, when you are adding decimals, we need to line the decimals up. So we have 22 and 4 tenths plus 3 and 825 thousandths. We're going to place zeros up to fill in the place values. 0 plus 5, 5. 0 plus 2 is 2. 4 plus 8 is 12. Carry your 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus another 3 is 6, and then we just bring down our 2. So our final answer is 26 and 225 thousandths. Okay, I did the wrong one, but I'm thinking that maybe my husband did this one yesterday. I don't remember. So we're just going to do both number 3s on Wednesday and Thursday just to make sure we did them both. So on this one, same thing. We're lining up our decimal, and then we place zeros for placeholders. And we subtract. So we can't subtract 0 minus 4. Can't borrow from a 0. So we're going to have to borrow all the way from the 7, which makes this a 6. This now has become a 10, but we still need to borrow from it. So it becomes a 9, and this is a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. 6 minus 0 is 6. Decimal place, 8 minus 3 is 5, and you just bring the 1 down. Okay, we are on our last question, number 4. So it says y equals 12 minus x. So for the first one, 12 minus 0 would still be 12. So this next one, we're going to have to do 12 minus 2.5. So we need to put our decimal and subtract. We're going to have to borrow and make this 10 minus 5. And then this is 11 minus 2, which is 9. So this would be 9.5. And then you're going to have to do the same thing. So we have 12 minus 4.5. We're going to have to borrow again. 10 minus 5, still 5. 11 minus 4 this time is 7. So this would be 7.5. Next one, we have 12 minus 8.5. Okay, so this we're going to borrow. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. And then 11 minus 8 is 3. So we have 3.5 on this one. And then our last, we have 12 minus 12.5. Ooh, this one's a little tricky. So we have to think, can I take away from, if I have 12 and I subtract 12.5, I can subtract 12 minus 12 and then I have nothing, but I can't subtract 0 minus a half. So this one actually is going to be a negative number. It's going to be negative a half because we don't have a half to subtract from there. Okay, if you are all done with your weekly practice, then tomorrow is going to be the turn-in day for the weekly practice. It's actually already set to turn in tomorrow. Back on Monday, I have it set. So if you want to go ahead and take a picture and submit it, feel free to do that. You're going to take a picture of the front and the back and just turn it in the same way you did on Monday. If you are still struggling with how to turn that in, let me know and I can walk you through it. Remember, just if I ask you to check your email, check your email. It's really easy for me to communicate with you on Google Meet, and so I can walk you through step by step if you're stuck on something.